Welcome back to the another video of Genus Academy. So friends, in this particular video, we are going to learn about a problem. That particular problem is continuously rising, and that particular problem, like it is known as the cosmic junk or as the space junks. Well, friends, as a normal human tendency, like we throw our garbage anywhere. Like that's a normal human tendency, whether it is on the earth or in the space. Friends, from last 50 years, we are sending the satellites into the space, and that leads to a problem that is continuously rising, that is of the space junk. The technology is continuously rising day by day. Like there is a difference in the today's technology and the difference in the previous, like the past 50 years technology. There is a vast difference. So basically, friends, like from last 50 years, we are sending the satellites in the Earth's atmosphere, in the Earth's low Earth orbit, and the geosynchronous orbit. The number of the satellites revolving around the Earth is 13,000 satellites. And out of those 13,000 satellites, only 3,500 satellites in active operation. They are actually useful. The rest of the satellites are junk. They are not in operation. That is of no use basically. So, friends, my point is that the problem over here is nothing but the cosmic junk. We can call it as a space junk. And that particular space junk, that cosmic junk, can lead to a disaster. So, basically, like there are more than 128 million objects in the Earth's low Earth orbit, and that particular objects are of different size, like less than 1 mm or more than 1 mm, like having a different size. Total 128 objects revolving in the Earth's atmosphere, in Earth's low orbit. And just because the speed of these small objects, that is roughly around 17,000 miles per hour, that is nearly equal to the 25,000 kilometers per hour, that is nearly equal to the 25,000. So these all the objects are revolving in the Earth's lower orbit or in the geosynchronous polar orbit at the speed, this high speed. So what if there is a collision will occur in between this junk, or else the small different particles of the satellites to an active satellite? What if the collision occurs? So that particular collision can lead to a disaster. Friends, in the year 2020, like COVID time, during the COVID time, we have sent 1283 satellites in the Earth's orbit. So that was the highest number on record that till date that we have sent into the space. Also, friends, in the next decade, SpaceX is planning to send a constellation of the satellites that is roughly around 42,000 satellites into the space. The number is very huge. Amazon's Project Kuiper, China's Hongyan, India's ISRO, and Canada's Telesat. So they are also planning to send the thousands of satellites of their own into the Earth's orbit. So like some at some point, I'm not able to recognize like how the Earth's orbit will look. Friends, this is our Earth's orbit during 1950s. The number of the satellites revolving in the Earth orbit, the number of the satellites was so less during that time, and now our Earth's orbit looks like this. But over here, there are only 3,500 satellites. These are in active operation. The rest of the satellites are the junk. What if there will be a collision between these two satellites will occur? That it can lead to a disaster basically. There may be the chances are continuously rising, that is the chances of the collision between the two satellites, or as the an active satellites, or as the some part of the broken part of the previous satellites. So there was a first collision that is there in 1996 on record, where a French satellite is damaged by a debris by a French rocket that has exploded a decade ago. So these broken parts of the rocket that has exploded a decade ago can damage an active satellites. Well, basically, friends, over here the main important parameter is the speed at which these broken pieces travels. Like it is the speed at which it revolves in the orbit, that is roughly around 17,000 miles per hour. That is equals to the, if we convert into the kilometers per hour, that is 27,360 kilometers per hour. So the speed is very very high, and at that particular speed, even a small part can make big harm to an active satellites. The biggest threat is to the astronauts during their space missions, also during this working on a particular space station, like that becomes a biggest threat. In the year 2009, US commercial satellites Iridium 33 is collided with a Russian communication satellite Cosmos 2251 at a speed of 22,300 miles per hour, that is equals to the 35,890 kilometers per hour. And that massive explosion created about 2,300 pieces of shrapnel, which is now a threat to the other spacecraft in the orbit. So friends, now we can understand like this particular space junk is the biggest threat to the future space missions, to the people, to the astronauts who works on a space stations. Like it is biggest threat to the active satellite as well. How can we bring down the unusable satellites which are there in the orbit? So friends, there are the cleanup services, that is the space cleanup agencies. These are started like in the year of 2018. A satellite called as a remove debris, this particular satellite is successfully captured not non-usable satellites by sending a net around the that unusable satellites. And that particular satellite captured that unusable satellite successfully by deploying a net around that dummy satellite. So these are the space cleaning services are going to start in the recent years, and the market will be very huge because the number of the satellites already we have sent in this orbits is very high. So these space cleaning services are going to start. There is also another space agency known as the Clear Space. So this particular space agency, like it is used to capture the dummy satellites which is of moderate size. By using the robotic arm, it deploys a robotic arm around the dummy satellite, it captures that dummy satellites and just it will bring it down on the earth. Basically that's a Swiss startup, and it removes the around 220 lbs, that is roughly around the 100 kgs of the junk from the space. Also friends, the pieces of the satellites which are the less than 1 mm, it is very difficult to capture those pieces. Like if my satellite, the dummy satellite which is there in the earth's orbit, like it is having a higher size, like it is of moderate size, we can easily capture them. But what about the different parts of the satellites that is of the 1 mm or else less than 10 mm? Like it is very much difficult for us to capture those parts, capture those parts. So just we need to wait for deorbiting. So once these parts gets deorbit, it will try to enter in the earth's atmosphere naturally. And when it enters in the earth's atmosphere, the frictional heat of re-entry will burn them down. The frictional heat of re-entry, its velocity will, just because of the gravitational pull, this velocity will increase, and it will just burn it down. So that we can call it as a frictional heat of re-entry. But guys, there are some parts of the satellites that is heat resistant. So we cannot give a guarantee for this heat resistant materials, like frictional heat of re-entry will burn them down or not. So that becomes a threat, a problem, another problem over here. So friends, that is it for today. Tell me in the comments what you think about this particular cosmic junk, space junk. What are your thoughts? If you found any of the ideas like that we can alter, please feel free to comment in the comment section. So friends, thank you so much for watching this educational video. Please stay tuned with Engineers Academy and subscribe, because that gives me a motivation to make more of such educational videos. Thank you so much friends for watching this educational video.